Curious Lloyd.
You are probably aware of the countless ways you could die. At any moment, you could get hit by a bus, a meteor, a frozen pea dropped from an aeroplane, you could choke on a grape, a piece of steak, or you could just suffer a heart attack. So you've got your guard up, and you're ready, but you never saw these coming. A light touch to the chest can stop your heart. There's no scientific evidence that a martial arts master can touch someone's chest and stop their heart. Sad to say, The Simpsons and Kill Bill are not considered scientifically valid, but it is actually something that can happen to you each and every time something touches your chest. Yes, the touch of death is taking lives today, not at martial arts tournaments, but at youth sporting events, mostly baseball and hockey. It's called commotio cordis, and it doesn't require an old master with fingers of steel. Just a baseball or hockey stick impact above the heart at just the right part of the cardiac cycle. There's a margin of error of 10 to 20 milliseconds, 20 times shorter than a blink of the eye. Even the most seemingly innocuous blow can trigger commotio cordis. A hollow plastic bat, shadowboxing, a hiccup chest pat, basically any contact at all. Statistically, commotio cordis is almost exclusive to male athletes below the age of 20 and usually occurs during sporting events. Here's a handy chart about precisely which sport is most likely to turn inexplicably lethal at any moment. Between 1996 and 2010, the commotio cordis registry logged 224 cases. Though 10 to 20 new instances are registered every year, researchers believe numerous cases still go unrecorded. Its deadliness is mostly due to the fact that should commotio cordis occur, you need a defibrillator to shock the heart back into action. For every minute of delay, the chance of survival drops by 10%. So there you go. Just always have a defibrillator handy at any time you might need to give or receive a triumphant chest bump. Or, alternatively, never do anything that deserves a chest bump. You probably weren't going to do that anyway, but now you have an excuse. Basically everything you're wearing could get you killed horribly. Isadora Duncan syndrome is perhaps unsurprisingly named after Isadora Duncan. She was a famous dancer and most importantly, died so crazy she got a syndrome named after her. In 1927, Duncan was riding in a fan's car and died from being strangled by her scarf after it became entangled in the rear wheel. If there's a more 1927's way to die than that, let me know in the comments. But it wasn't just her. Industrial machinery consistently snags and crushes and kills whatever few human workers haven't been replaced by uncrushable robots. And farming equipment kills farmers faster and more often than undocumented side effects from Monsanto's products. If your long scarf doesn't get caught in the wheel of your friend's car, basically anything can get snagged and killed by a subway train. Clothes kill so many people in the subway stations that we can't even call it a freak occurrence anymore. Be it a woman's pocketbook, catching a train's door, or an escalator eating a man's hoodie string, the cases are many and depressingly similar. Any little loose article of clothing will get you dragged to your death or ripped to shreds by jagged metal. It's also a huge problem in India. Women often wear traditional long scarves called dupatta, which are like magnets for moving parts. This appears to be especially true of farming equipment and motorcycles, which are plentiful due to traffic congestion. One study tracked 12 such cases between 2004 and 2006, accounting for 11 cases of quadriplegia, 3 of which quickly ended in death. Sartorial motor injuries are pretty common in neighbouring Pakistan, where the convoluted layers of robes and tops that women wear are consistently sucked into motorcycle wheels. Karachi alone averages 1 per day, meaning that no matter where you are in the world, there's probably a machine nearby eagerly waiting to devour you scarf first. Remarkable deadly lightning can strike from a clear blue sky. According to the lightning branch of National Weather Service, there are 5 different ways that lightning can kill you, which they choose to amusingly illustrate on a TurboGrafx 16 for some reason, but they left out the most terrifying possibility, a bolt from the blue. Even with sun and clear skies, you could suddenly be struck down by a lightning bolt that originated a whole city away, like this one that crossed country lines visible in the left bottom panel, or one that travelled more than 9 miles from its parent storm to strike near some apartment buildings. Oh, and bolts from the blue are also more energetic than conventional strikes. Bolts from the blue seem to strike lone humans with deadly accuracy. A tourist strolling along the sunny Daytona Beach surf was hit right in the chest by a bolt that originated miles offshore. Similarly, another man was killed on the New Jersey beach as he and his friend tossed a football around on a sunny day. A landscaper suffered the same fate beneath a cloudless Miami sky and numerous others have been injured by similar guerrilla lightning strikes. So, what can you do about it? Well, it's easy. Just go ahead and make peace with death. You can drown on dry land, nowhere near water. The 2008 death of Johnny Jackson highlighted an obscure but terrifying condition known as delayed drowning. Jackson drowned, but unlike most drowning victims, the 10-year-old died while asleep, in his bed, a non-water but regular old bed, not located anywhere near a pool, or beneath a running sprinkler system, or a dangerously near drunken Aquaman. But yes, you can absolutely drown on land, in two different ways, actually, which you'll often wrongly see used interchangeably. Dry drowning and secondary delayed drowning. Dry drowning occurs shortly after leaving the water. If liquid has entered the nose or mouth, it can trigger the body's natural reaction to clamp the larynx shut, preventing water from getting into the airway. Unfortunately, this reflex works too well, preventing air from entering the airway too. Airways generally need that stuff, it's right in the name. A drowning is classified as dry when the larynx did its job, as far as it's concerned, and water did not reach the lungs. That's of little comfort to the rest of us, who still watched a person suffocate soon after exiting the pool, just because of an overzealous larynx. Secondary or delayed drowning works differently, and may happen up to 24 hours after submersion. If a tiny bit of water enters the lungs, it can cause fluid buildup and swelling. Over time, that interrupts oxygen transfer, slows the heart, it can induce nightmare vomiting and subsequent choking, and it also causes cardiac arrest. We all know the thought of drowning a full day after you've left the pool is terrifying. No real need to worry though. Water enters the lungs only through extreme poolside activities that people never do, like jumping from a diving board or shooting out of a water slide. Land drowning mostly affects kids. It's typically reversible if you get to the hospital in time, and only accounts for 1 to 2% of annual drowning deaths. But still, now you have the idea of dry drowning in your head, and you never fully trust a pool again. Happy summer. You could be swallowed whole by a tree well. You're aware of the dangers of skiing. From Michael Schumacher, Sonny Bono, and that ski-free Yeti, the spectre of death by skiing is everywhere. But while you're watching for blows to the head and Yeti attacks, the trees are harbouring a secret, a deadly secret. I'm pretty sure that was a tagline to the happening though. Anyway, I'm talking about something slightly less deadly, and significantly less ridiculous. Tree wells. When it snows, a tree's low-hanging branches shelter a base, producing a pocket of loosely packed snow and air. Loosely packed snow and air might not sound terribly frightening, but that's just what these murderous trees want you to think. As the snow level rises around it, the fluffier mix acts as a sort of quick snow, waiting for the oblivious skiers to get close. Tree wells are often deceptively deep, and victims typically fall into these traps head first, meaning there's little they can do to free themselves. Tree wells account for a massive 20% of snowboarding and skiing deaths via snow immersion suffocation. If you're unfortunate enough to get caught in a tree well, the best thing to do is to kill the head tree, which will cause all the other trees in the forest to know you mean business. If that's not feasible for whatever reason, you basically have to wait for a partner to dig you out. If you ski like you make love, alone and poorly, often falling headfirst into wells, you're basically dead. You can try gently rocking back and forth to create a U-sized air pocket, then use the branches to push yourself to the surface. But that's easier said than done when you're upside down and struggling against the deluge of loose snow that's squeezing your breath out of your already frozen lungs. It's probably better just to accept it and die as crazy as possible.